Given that situation is so volatile and uncertain, we haven't really seen any, sort of knee-jerk reaction. There is nothing that has emerged so far, which is developing into a pattern right now, because everybody seems to be watching this space carefully, just waiting and watching. Yeah, there's a possibility, let's say people who were, sitting on a fence and they were looking to travel to that part of the world, they might be just holding on to it, which we will not come to know. But in terms of just the bookings that have happened already, or futures, or the any booking behavior from an advanced purchase standpoint, we haven't really seen a pattern emerging right now.
Right.
But if this situation prolongs, I guess it's early days right now, and given that everybody's sort of watching the space, because literally there is new piece of news on this topic every day, every morning, right? So, I think everybody is sort of watching and trying to absorb and saying what exactly is happening, and if there's going to be potential impact, direct or indirect. And maybe then we will see some, sort of pattern emerging. But so far, nothing.
Understood. Your key industry metric is gross bookings value. What does that picture look like, Rajesh, on a 6 to 12 month timeline?
Yeah, 6 to 12 months might be very hard to predict, but I can tell you, if you look at any of the industry reports, the travel and tourism market for the next 3 to 5 years was supposed to be growing at high single digit or double digit, actually, if we get lucky. Right. So, I think we should start thinking about working backwards from there, given the current situation, volatile, and if it continues to sort of stay like that, and it starts to, going down southwards, then from there may be drop of the growth. But I don't really see that that drop happening too much. And maybe this is also travel season for us. So this quarter we will get to know a little bit more.
Yes.
Because see, a lot of people actually end up in India planning either in summers for their holidays, the family holidays and stuff, or in the winters. And this is just the beginning of the season. So maybe 1 month down the line, middle of the quarter, we will have better sense of how the consumer behavior is changing, if at all. There are no signs, as I pointed out earlier, seem like right now, because the first few days April were actually pretty good because there was a long weekend and people were all busy sort of planning their short vacation. Right. So we will know maybe sometime later, but I think midterm to long-term outlook, growth outlook still looks quite positive.
Understood. One of your investors is China-based travel booking company Ctrip, which some might find somewhat curious and perhaps unexpected given India and China's historic strategic rivalry. Is travel demand, and are travelers, Rajesh, therefore perhaps agnostic about all of this, especially in light of recently China simplifying the process for Indian tourists? Is there a quiet revolution going on in that corridor, India-China?
Well, if you look at the trade between India and China, has always been there, actually, and it has always been sort of growing between the two countries. And the travel between India and China was largely focused on trade travel, not necessarily leisure, even historically. And that continues. I mean, notwithstanding, post-COVID, of course, there were some, sort of visa restriction, and country by country was opening up the borders, sort of slowly and gradually. And that pretty much happened across the globe. So frankly, I don't really see anything specifically. We haven't really seen any sort of evidence of that specifically to the trade between the two countries. And, I'm not necessarily going into any other issues, but specifically between, when you look at the trade data between the two countries and the travel related to that trade, that has always been happening. And I think it will continue to happen. I don't really see, like I said, you don't really see any data to treat that as an evidence to say, or think differently.